Hi, Aries and Libra Rising, and welcome to your Astrology and Tarot horoscope. Now, you might wonder why Aries and Libra, you are together. Well, if you're familiar with the zodiac, you know that we have opposite pairs, and the opposite pairs deal with the same kinds of issues. So, Aries and Libra is really the axis of how we show up for ourselves and how we show up in relationships, and a whole lot of life is about exploring that, exploring the balance between those two things. And so, where the energy shows up this month in particular, really is on one side of that duality or the other for both of you. So, I'm going to package you together and. Yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know if this works. The energy will show up along that spectrum for both of you. And so I think it makes a lot of sense. But again, let me know what you think. Um, I'm not going to go into detail. Last month I went into detail on the astrology in each recording. I'm not going to go into detail in the astrology. I recorded that separately. So there is a separate July astrology breakdown, all the dates in the month. And so I'm going to link that to this video. So go back and listen to that if you have not listened to that, because I'm just going to touch on it and tell you how it's going to show up for you rather than going into more detail about how the energy is going to play out in the month. Yeah, so I will link that, so it should be pretty easy to find. And, as always with any of these kinds of readings, take what works and leave the rest. If anything resonates, though, please do give me a like, a subscribe, a comment, or a share. It helps my channel grow. It helps me to know you're out there, and I just greatly appreciate it. So, thank you. Thank you in advance for the favor. If you don't know me, my name is Lisa Merrifield. I'm with Trails Edge Astrology. I'm a modern psychological astrologer. And what that means is the work I like to do is helping people find the path that is most meaningful to them in life and really work with the current energy in the most effective way. So I like to say, I like to help people find their path and make their magic. So that's the kind of astrology I like to do, which fits in really well with these kinds of readings where we're talking about where is it going to show up for you and how do you work with it. So I hope you enjoy that as well. So if you like this format, I also want to let you know that I'm going to be opening up a membership in November where I will do this for you personally. So every month you will get a 15-minute recording where I will look at your astrology. So these videos are just general because I don't know you. I don't know what your other placements are. But through that membership, I will give you specifically how it's going to show up for you and then a tarot reading that is specific to you. So if you like this format, know that that membership is coming and watch for it in November. All right, let's get going with your reading. So, Aries and Libra rising. This month, the backbone of this month is really this Mercury retrograde. Mercury is retrograde from the 4th through the 28th. So that is really coloring the month. We also have a full moon in Aquarius, which fits in to the same spot in the chart. So it's highlighting the same areas in the chart for all of us. And for you, with Aries and Libra rising, this is sitting across your 5th house, 11th house axis, which is about your individual creativity and your creativity in community. So it's how you show up and create your space, either on your own or in groups. So with the Mercury retrograde, that always asks us to revise, rethink, redo, reevaluate. And for the Aries rising folks, it's really going to be hitting in that place of individuation. What are you creating on your own? And what do you need to rethink about that space? So, 5th house can be any kind of creativity. So, frequently we associate it with children because, that is the ultimate creation, I guess, for some. But it could be art, it could be a business, it could be writing a book, it could be taking a risk. 5th house is house of risk. It could be new romance, any of those kinds of things, but there's going to be something about revising and reviewing that for the Aries rising folks. For the Libra rising folks, that revision will happen on the other end of the spectrum. So what are you creating in community? How are your friend groups happening? How are you showing up in, how are you showing up for the group and for the greater, the larger good, not creating just for yourself, but creating in an atmosphere of joint collaboration. So there's something about that group dynamic and that creativity and group dynamics that's going to be asked for some revision uh, during the Mercury retrograde. So for the whole month, those will be themes: that creativity, individual creativity, group dynamics, all that is going to be a theme for both Aries rising and Libra rising. So the full moon then is going to come in and sit along that axis as well. Full moons are about revelations, they are about endings sometimes, and this full moon is square Uranus, um, which leads or suggests a real unexpected quality to it. The full moon is on the 19th, so it's around the middle of the month. It's not a full moon to be trifled with. In fact, I think Pam Gregory called it a doozy of a full moon. So anything square Uranus, we just really want to watch for. The Uranus. Uranus is about breaking up tension, liberation, revolution, freedom, those kinds of things. And so to have a moon sitting across an axis that's looking at, at how you show up. Yeah, there could be some breakthrough moment. We are in Mercury retrograde, so we are going to be not necessarily moving forward mentally, or communication gets muddied during Mercury retrogrades, all those things. But around that full moon, there could be something that shows up that kind of is like, and now we're doing it this way. So definitely look for it. I would be cautious around that full moon. It's one that, um, you know, unexpected things can be good. It releasing tension, all good. And we just always want to be careful whenever Uranus comes along, because Uranus is not necessarily about the slow and steady progress. It's very much about, this needs to be fixed. Here's how we'll do it. So happening in that 5th and 11th house space, individual creativity in groups, individuation, group dynamics, any of those kinds of things are showing up really strongly for you this month. The Mars-Jupiter conjunction is another aspect that is perfecting on the 14th. And when Mars and Jupiter come together, it can be a really good thing and it can be too much. And so for you, it is happening on your axis of wisdom. So the axis of, what do you believe? What is true? What are the facts? How do the facts play into what you believe is true? All of those kinds of things. It's a very, that Mars Jupiter conjunction is very mental for you. It's in Gemini, so it would be mental anyway. And it is in houses that are very mental. And so, so it could promote some like super being in your head. So for Aries rising, the energy is really culminating in the 3rd house. And so that is the house of everyday communication and informal learning. It's the house where we bring the sacred into everyday. So like everyday rituals, those kinds of things. It's also about neighbors, local travel, siblings. So something around that area of your life is being given an opportunity to be expressed. I think it goes back to your Taurus house because of the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction and then the Mars-Uranus conjunction in July. So yeah, the Taurus-Gemini houses, which are the 2nd and 3rd houses in your chart, are really being stirred up by this energy. And in particular, right now, that 3rd house, everyday communication, everyday learning, everyday activities, everyday mental activities are really coming to the surface for Aries rising. For Libra rising, it's the opposite end of the spectrum of knowledge and wisdom. It's the the Mars Jupiter conjunction is happening in your ninth house of abstract thought, of things like foreign travel, of formal learning, of formal religion or formal spirituality, those kinds of things that, if you're thinking of writing a book, that's maybe a more third house activity. If you're publishing the book, it's the ninth house activity, sort of. But it's that kind of continuum. So it's the more formal, more public part of learning and wisdom and sharing knowledge. So something coming together for you in that space in your chart. All of that energy, Mars and Jupiter, um, on the full moon are going to square Venus and Saturn. So Venus and Saturn will be opposite each other, and both of them will be squaring Jupiter. So this isn't the worst energy in the world. Um, it's bringing up the next chapter of a story. In so many ways, this is bringing up the next chapter of a story, and so it's really ripe for revision. For you, that energy is showing up in your 6th and 12th houses. So there might be something about health, might be something about, you know, rethinking health, because this is a very mental kind of thing. Rethinking health, rethinking service, rethinking how you discern or analyze things. So yeah, so you know better than I do how all that's going to play out in your life, but definitely, we definitely have something around wisdom and how it lands in our consciousness, how we translate it into showing up in everyday life, coming to pass during the middle of the month. All right, so let's move into what the tarot says you can do with this energy, how to work with it. So I am going to use the Prisma Vision Tarot. I don't know that you can see that. This box isn't very clear, but Prisma Vision Tarot. And then I'm going to draw an oracle card from the Chakra Insights Oracle deck. So we'll look at your opportunities, your challenges, and your to-do list with the tarot. And then with the Chakra Insights Oracle, I will pull an oracle card to give you an idea of what part of your energetic field might need some work in order to open up whatever needs to be opened up to move on to the next part of life. All right. The next chapter of the journey, I guess. I shuffle cards. All right. Right. Let's see what the deck has to share with you. Okay. All right. So, for your opportunity, you've got the moon. And the moon is all about the energy of flowing and movement and not necessarily being able to see very far. Potentially secrets, potentially things that are not ready to be revealed. So, as an opportunity this month, being that a lot of the energies in your 5th and 11th house, that creative space, I wonder if this is an invitation to just kind of ease into the unknown and just see where that flows. And certainly with the Venus Saturn opposition along your 6th, 12th house line, that feels very lunar to me, in that particularly the 12th house is all about connecting to cosmic consciousness and not being so literal, and really, really, really flowing and really breaking down silos, and recognizing that you can't always see everything, but it doesn't mean you don't take the next step that feels right. Really about being intuitive. So I guess maybe that's even a better way to say it. There's something about stepping into your intuition this month that I think is going to be really important for you. Um, on the Aries and Libra axis, there's Aries is the real desire to act and to move forward. Um, and Librans like to be in the community and find the balance, but also move forward. They're both cardinal signs. And so there's something maybe about just sitting in the uncertainty and feeling your way along, tapping into your feelings, perhaps. So yeah, so there's some opportunity to have a real lunar experience this month and not be too literal, I think. Um, and maybe not even maybe be really okay with not moving too far, too fast. So lunar experiences are not necessarily quick and direct, but it's a little more circuitous. So some opportunity in that kind of space. The challenge is the Six of Swords. And the Six of Swords is about moving on after a loss. So walking away from something. So there might be some energy here, particularly with this full moon in Aquarius, that might bring some surprises, that might ask you to walk away from something. And it's going to be a challenge. It might be hard. You might not be ready to. You might not think you can. Um, but there's an invitation this month with this retrograde. Maybe you've built into something. You've started something, some creative kind of project, and with all this energy this month, suddenly you realize like it's not going the way you thought it would, or it's like this isn't actually the thing you want to do. You might already be starting to feel this. You might already kind of be like, I said I would do this, but not feeling it. So there's a challenge to walk away from something, to head off, to know that it didn't quite work out the way you'd planned. That's okay. It's called adaptive management for a reason, and you can move in to the next piece of the journey. And maybe you don't know what that piece is. Maybe you can't see it yet. Maybe it's not really clear. So maybe there will be an invitation with this retrograde to to leave something that is more concrete, because you're being called to move to something that's not, something that's much more fluid, and that you're still trying to figure out. So I think there's something in that space. The Your to-do list. How do you work with this energy? You got the Knight of Chalices. So this is the Knight of Cups. And the Knight of Cups is very much, so knights are about movement. So this is moving forward, this is communicating, this is, all that kind of energy. And cups are really about intuition and relationships and emotions, and yeah, and um, how do you move forward from a real heart-centered space? So, as you are looking at this whatever this creative challenge is, whatever it is you're trying to bring into the world, either through your own individual actions or through the actions of a group, whatever that is, whatever the mental exercise is you're doing, there's something that's you're being asked to move forward from your heart, not your head, I think, in July. Um, and knowing that you don't know exactly where you're going, you're not supposed to. This isn't a real decisive month. Whereas July, actually, I think most of the first part of the year moved so fast and things just like happened out of the blue. We may have some of this month with that Uranus square to the full moon, but it may also slow down with the it may also be really slow with the Mercury retrograde. So yeah, so something about like sitting in your heart space and moving forward from your heart space, I think, is what you're being called to do. All right, let's see what a chakra insight cards have to say about where you move forward, how to work with the energy, where in your body you need to focus or release. Gonna do this part. Oh, you need to do some crown chakra work. So you got guidance. So this is crown chakra. So top of your head. Um, and it says support, love, signs, directions. So I think that, in all this, um, the moon is very much in this nebulous space of movement and yeah, so some connection to higher purpose. You've got some 12th house stuff, some connection to higher purpose, looking at signs, looking for guidance. Um, yeah, doing some crown chakra work this month might be important. And that can just be as simple as meditation or it doesn't have to be complicated. Um, Looking at signs, one of the things to really note about looking for signs or synchronicities or those kinds of things um, is that if you see like a repeating pattern of numbers, or if you keep seeing feathers on the ground, or whatever signs that you're noticing. I went through a phase where I kept seeing sunflowers everywhere. Um, that that more important often than whatever the symbol is, whether it's numbers or sunflowers or feathers or whatever it is really to tune into what you're thinking about when you see that thing, when you see that sign, what's going on in your head or in your heart, in your body. Um, so yeah, so some work on your um, checking in with your inner guidance, your that wisdom. What just came into my mind is dreams. It's like doing some dream work, really thinking about and really like working with the symbols in your dreams, maybe to find the guidance that you need, and knowing that you may not make a whole lot of progress in August. We're not supposed to. Mercury's retrograde. We're supposed to slow down and take a break, and there's a whole lot of energy that might want to push us in that way. But yeah, something about doing crown chakra work to find some guidance. All right, my Aries and Libra rising friends, thank you so much for being here. If this was meaningful to you and helpful, again, please give me a like, a share, a subscribe, or a comment so I know you're out there. And remember that if you like this and you would like me to do it specifically for you with your chart, that membership will be opening in November. All right, my friends, talk to you soon.